May peace be upon you. My name is Maz Huck, and welcome to my advocacy presentation, Keep Culture Going Strong. Throughout the semester, I've investigated an issue negatively affecting my life, recently labeled as cultural dilution. This issue is the aftermath of families moving away from home countries, resulting in a lack of influence for the homeland's culture as individuals have to adapt into the societal norms and standards of new surroundings. As children develop in new countries, the opportunity to integrate culture as part of their identities is much more limited. Additionally, if this opportunity is overlooked, and these children progress into adulthood, challenging circumstances may arise, like handling an incomplete identity or engaging with cultural events inadequately. There are also complications within society too. Due to the fact that communication in religious communities between family members living in different countries and elders of the community have that disconnect between cultural engagement. These short-term effects may also lead into a massive loss in diversity and the potential death of the culture as its influence in society is finished. Growing up, I wasn't able to connect with my Desi culture in an optimal way. I was only able to enjoy the music, dance, and cultural food cooked by my mom throughout life. I have very limited knowledge of the Urdu language, the main language spoken between people of Desi culture, and I have no memory of experiencing my home countries. Despite this moderate influence, I still had to handle the high academic expectations prevalent in the parental tactics in my culture and pursue goals which previously seemed insane. The craziest part is that I know this issue isn't specific to me, for it can affect any child of immigrant parents of any culture. I've noticed a few solutions that could potentially mitigate cultural dilution. By simply engaging with culture in childhood, preferably, or adulthood, culture can become a defined sector of identity and shape a person's capabilities. Enjoying the food, visiting home countries, attending events full of cultural influence, and learning the languages are excellent ways to do this. Alternatively, a method I've recently researched is interacting with organizations centralized on spreading cultural information, which brings me into my organization, the Indian American Cultural Association Chicago, or IACA Chicago. IACA Chicago is a local nonprofit organization focused on fostering Indian culture in the Chicagoland area. Established in 2018, the association holds events to strengthen cultural pride and aspirations in Indian culture for individuals of several age ranges and keep the culture's aspects alive in future generations. These events are absolutely incredible in promoting Indian culture and enabling it to thrive in future generations. This first image shows the flyer for a series of cultural classes in which kids were able to learn Indian culture through storytelling, arts and crafts, and block printing, a method of transcribing information originating from India. The center image shows the flyer for a series of yoga classes held online during the pandemic. Yoga is a physical exercise technique that also enhances the mind and soul, originating in India. And seeing families interact with this Indian culture during a time of low physical activity is immense in promoting Indian culture. The last image shows a photograph from one of their car parades, an annual celebration of Indian culture and pride. Given that this association was able to survive a global pandemic, I find it so impactful that the association's influence can continue to live on, even if it could have ended so soon. However, there are some issues affecting the organization as well. That nonprofit status causes a heavy reliance on volunteer support, and that status will continue to hinder the scope and impacts of their events. Additionally, their recent schedule has been very inconsistent, with only 3 events in 2022, and the last of which being in August. I believe these two issues are results of a management structure built around a small council of individuals, making all of the plans and decisions for the association. Because the association has only been around for 4 years, it's hard to analyze the effects their events have had on Chicagoland residents, given that they haven't gotten the chance to mature or implement these traditions on a consistent basis yet. Also, because many people from India also reside in the suburbs of Chicago, and the association is based out of Lincoln Park, IACA Chicago's influence in the suburbs is very restricted. The last restriction is a three-way focus divided between promoting Indian culture, assisting those less fortunate with service projects, and integrating individuals with disabilities and special needs into society. After taking the pros and cons of ISCA Chicago into account, and all of the written works from Honors 1190, I can safely say that my understanding of culture is much more positive compared to starting my undergraduate education. I've never been so intrigued in the aspects of Desi culture, and I've already started making small steps in reaching an engagement with it. As for ISCA Chicago, I can only hope they have more consistent plans for 2023 and beyond to continue their impacts. In our constant fight against cultural dilution, learning more about our cultures can enable them to thrive and flourish in the future generations. I thank you for listening. I hope this presentation met standards, and I await your questions. Have a good one.